Cyprus is the island of love. It's on her shores that Aphrodite is said to have emerged from the foam. Though, unlike the goddess herself, Aphrodite's island does not always command love at first sight. It takes some time to appreciate the beauties of a mountain terrain that for centuries have given nurture and protection to its sons and daughters. And where Kykkos Monastery in particular is a symbol to Cypriots of their freedom and independence. The name Kykkos is strongly bound up with that of Archbishop Macarius III, who prepared the way for the island's acquisition of self-rule in 1960. The monastery was founded in 1080, but its current appearance, including its series of frescoes in the Byzantine style, dates only from the 19th and 20th centuries. Kykkos' most treasured possession is its icon of the Virgin Mary. According to legend, it was painted by the evangelist Luke himself. The port of Paphos. Each year during the summer months, this little harbour and its fortifications form the backdrop for an opera festival. This is the smallest of Cyprus's coastal towns, and the islanders themselves, as well as the tourists, have a special affection for it. Here, they say, is where the gods take their holidays. The combination of sun and sea is ideal for swimming and water sports. Or, from another point of view, Limassol is living proof of the island's highly developed tourism infrastructure, a symbol of Cyprus's economic miracle. Even nowadays, Aphrodite is ever present on Cyprus. On top of the white cliffs of Petra tou Romeo, she has lent her name to one of the finest golf courses in Europe. And after a round of golf, a stroll along the cliffs, or a spot of horse riding, there's nothing finer than to relax on Pissouri Beach with a glass of good Cyprus wine and a taste of one of the local delicacies. Kalawassos and Tochnis, Cyprus village on the coast of Light, offers a treat for riders. The chance to experience the surrounding waves, rocks and mountains on horseback is something very special. When the sun strikes them, the cliffs of Petra tou Romeo rise out of the sea like burning gold. This is the place where, according to myth, Aphrodite too rose out of the foaming surf. All over the world, Aphrodite is linked with love and beauty. Statues of her, hewn from marble, have made her immortal. With the spread of Christendom, the goddess of love was recast into the chaste and innocent figure of the Virgin Mary. Over 10,000 years ago, back in the Stone Age, the first settlers landed on Cyprus by boat and began to establish their way of life. Chirokitia is an example of one such site. Round huts with stone foundations and roofs made of clay, shaped like those of old-fashioned beehives. They house both the living and the dead, because these first settlers used to bury their dead under the floor in a squatting position. This is all vividly illustrated by small clay models. This one showing a devotee peering over the wall of a shrine, absorbed in the ritual being performed within. And here, a beautifully shaped 6,000-year-old fertility charm made of steatite, showing how it would have been worn around the neck. It was meant to protect the wearer and guarantee her fertility. Another image sums up the whole of the Neolithic age. A wooden plough through-furrowing the rich soil between a team of oxen. In those days, the people lived by hunting and fishing. Birds, too, gorged on the fruits of the gardens of Poseidon, scenes that their artists used to capture delightfully on painted vases. The Apollo Hilates temple at Kourion dates from the 1st century AD. Its name is puzzling and occurs only in Cyprus. Hilates means forest, so it must refer to a god of that type of vegetation, and presumably this region was densely wooded in antiquity. The Achilles mosaic in Paphos is from the 5th century BC, and the story it relates to forms a link between antiquity and the present day. It depicts King Peleus, his wife Thetis, and the birth of their son Achilles, where he is being given the bath of immortality, a motif that Christian art later adapted for its depictions of the birth and washing of Christ. Baptism in the Greek Orthodox Church has elements in common with the bath of immortality, as well as with frescoes of the Nativity showing the washing of Christ. The deeper imports of the baptism go all the way back to the creation of Adam and the story of Noah's Ark. At the start of the ceremony, the priest blows his breath into the child 3 times. And just as the dove once bore the olive branch to Noah as a sign of salvation, the baby that is being baptized is anointed and crossed with consecrated oil as a token of lifelong protection in his battle with the devil. Only then is the whole body of the child immersed in water, as in antiquity, a gesture that is also reminiscent of the bathing of Siegfried in his attempt to achieve invulnerability. In Siegfried's case, it was the oak leaf between his shoulders that frustrated the attempt, whereas with the hero of antiquity, it was his Achilles heel that eventually brought about his death, the place where his nurse had held him by the foot as she dunked him in the water. In the early Christian baptistry of Kourion, the full-sized cruciform font, symbolizing the united cosmos, still survives. In it, the adult candidate for baptism was required to wade metaphorically through the primeval ocean, the realm of the dead, so as to achieve salvation by the act of ritual cleansing. For the people of Cyprus, Kourion's most prosperous period was in Roman times. In the early days of Christianity, the city was the seat of a bishop, but afterwards it fell into the hands of the Arabs. Kourion's steep slopes and the good winds above the ancient city are a constant temptation to hang glider enthusiasts to show off their talents, conjuring up thoughts of Icarus and Daedalus and of man's first attempts at flying. This royal scepter, fashioned from gold, is evidence that even as early as the Mycenaean age, Cyprus had regular trading links with Greece. The masterpiece is topped with a pair of falcons and dates from the 11th century BC. This conical rhiton made of faience, with its elegant animal, hunting and floral motifs, is also a Mycenaean work of art, but from the 13th century BC.